everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. And today, we are doing a review of Friday the 13th. The very first one came out in 1980, around that time.
We will be doing the entire series because there is going to be a Friday the 13th this October.
So, anyway, it starts off with a young girl who's going to be the cook at the camp. And she hitches...
Is that where it starts?
Yeah.
Is that the opening
No,
scene?
it doesn't. It starts off with a boy and a girl who get murdered.
What are the boy and girl doing?
They're having sex.
Whoa!
And they get murdered.
They can't do that in movies anymore.
And so that comes to the... It goes to nowadays. That was back in I think it's 57 or something. Now they're the nowadays, and they're in town, and it's the town that's closest, I guess, to the camp. And the camp was reopened another time, and something happened, and so this is the most recent time where they're going to open the camp, and all the people at this girl, she's just come in and she has a backpack. She's going to work at the camp. She's going to be a cook, and she's trying to get a ride to the camp. And anyway, all the people say don't go there. It's got a curse on it and all this. Yeah, this diner where she stops, and so she goes there, and then this guy who took her, he was a fuel truck driver or something like that, and he only could take her part of the way, couldn't take her the whole way. So she tried to hitch again, and that was the end of her, because the person driving the Jeep, who's not a ghost, because I don't know many ghosts that can drive Jeeps, because I thought this was going to be about a ghost.
Really?
And, yeah. I have seen this movie, but it was a million years ago.
Literally a million?
It was literally, it was a long time. I didn't see it at the theaters, but it's just been, I don't know, nobody really talked about it. They did, but they didn't, it's like comes and goes about the popularity of this movie.
Really?
It's not like Halloween or
No.
The popularity of it. So, anyway, the girl, the Jeep passes by the entrance, and she has to jump out, and she runs into the woods, and she gets her throat cut. So this is the beginning of all the killing, which you don't know what's going on, and you know she wasn't killed by a ghost. A ghost doesn't drive a Jeep. So you're thinking, my God, is it somebody who works at the camp? And go ahead, Marco.
Well, so basically, it's all about the counselors that are at this camp, and they're going to open it again for camp, and this killer is stopping them from opening it by killing all of them, and that's the movie. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And I will say, I'm going to sound very negative in this review, and that's just because I feel like there's better movies in the series that I've already seen, and there's better horror movies in general. And I feel like with this movie, it's a little overrated, and so I want to prepare people for that, because I know that, objectively, this is a good movie. Objectively, it's a classic horror movie that did a lot for horror. Well, it kind of did, and then they stopped taking the advice that the movie gave, obviously, because, the movies nowadays are terrible, and they don't have any of the elements that this movie has, that, they're right there. It's like, if you want to take advice from any movie, you want to take it from this one when you're making a horror movie. But in my opinion, I don't like it. I didn't like it as a kid for different reasons, because when I was a kid, I assumed that Friday the 13th was just Jason. And I didn't know about this, that there was another movie without him. And I was like, who cares? Because she's not in any of the other movies, basically, as the killer, Jason's mom. She's only the killer in this one, so who cares? And now, I gave it a chance, because I've only seen this movie like twice. And I gave it a third chance, and I'm not a fan. I don't like it. I think it's extremely overrated. I think it's boring, and, that's just the beginning. And, Safi, I'll let her say what she thinks, because maybe a lot of people are going to get really upset now, because, it's Friday the 13th. That means you can't say anything bad about it.
Well, for some reason, I didn't really... See, I watched it before, like I said, 1,000,000 years ago, so I didn't really know the premise of the movie, except I thought there was a ghost. It was all about a ghost, like coming and killing people. And I thought there would be campers, too. So I was surprised it was just all counselors getting knocked off right and left. And then the person who opened the camp, he was very prominent in the beginning after the cook got killed. They don't even know the cook got killed. They just think that she didn't show up, because she was killed way out in the woods, not even near the entrance. Remember, she jumped out of the Jeep that was driving, and because she knew that there was something wrong, because they were going really fast and they didn't stop at the entrance. So anyway, so I thought it was going to be campers, so that was one thing, and then I thought it was going to be about a ghost. That was the other thing. I thought, well, because the person driving the Jeep wasn't a ghost, I thought, well, it's somebody who works at the camp. Well, the guy who opens the camp, who I guess was related to the people who had opened it in the 50s, he was there, and they were, nailing things and fixing things. And then he left, and I thought, I wonder if it's him, because you don't see him the whole movie until the very end. I don't know what he's been doing. He never was there, and all those kids, they're, high school or college kids, they've all been left to their own devices. They're pretty good, and like Marco says, probably kind of boring, because, they played strip Monopoly, which was weird.
What? What?
And then you see...
Well, it is weird. It is fucking weird, because Monopoly is a game that you play for hours. It's not a game where, like, you just play it and it's over, like, I don't know.
Well, it's probably strip poker. Strip poker would not take hours.
Yeah, because, like, the thing is that when you play strip poker, you have, let's see, shoes, socks, pants, underwear, shirt. That's 5 turns for each person. There was what, 3 or 4 people there?
It was 2 girls and a boy.
Okay,
that was it.
So that's 15 times, 15 turns total. Monopoly takes a lot more than 15 turns to play.
Oh, yeah.
And so once they have all their clothes off, what do they do next? Just sit there and play Monopoly naked? Like that would suck. Like it's weird. It's like this movie. God. Ugh. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's like if Trivial Pursuit would be better to play for Trivial Pursuit, because that'd be done pretty fast.
I don't know if they had Trivial Pursuit back then.
I think they did.
I'm not sure.
I think they did.
I know we had it in like 86 or something, but I don't know. Anyway.
And that's only the beginning. Believe me, that's the least of this movie's problems. In my opinion.
And there's more people having few more people having sex.
Yeah, thank God.
But these are like the modern day now. This isn't back from the 50s. Now we're just showing modern day.
Yeah, thank God there's a horror movie that exists where people are taking their clothes off, because nowadays if you do that, it's automatically a bad movie. You can't do that anymore because they've deemed it unacceptable unless you have those weird sex police on set who stand by and watch the people pretend to have sex, which is the most stupidest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard of.
And Mark was not exaggerating. He said
no, I'm not.
Really do have some kind of monitors now on set.
And if you say anything bad about it, then you're bad, and you're considered that, like, oh, why are you complaining? Why are you, like, oh, obviously, and it's like, fuck off. It's stupid. It's like, it's not real, it's fake, it's phony, it's acting, it's play pretend. But these fuckers nowadays can't even fucking act.
Okay, that's enough of the F word. But anyway, so one by one, or maybe two in that case, get knocked off, meaning they get their throats cut. Even the cook got her throat cut in the woods.
Yeah, you've already mentioned that twice now.
Okay,
and
so
and see, that's the thing, is that there's nothing to talk about.
No, there's
except
nothing going on.
There is, because there's a lot of problems. And let's just get started. Let's just list off the problems with this trash movie, with this overrated garbage movie, this boring snooze fest of a movie.
Well, the problem I had with it from the middle until almost the end. The end, it's daytime, it's clear, and there's no storm. But all like from the middle until the end, when you've got just about you have three people left. Those are the people playing Monopoly, and it's so dark. I couldn't see anything. I could see flashes of color, like somebody was wearing a slicker or a raincoat, and I think it was green. And then you could see red, like a red hoodie or something like that, a red in the shirt, but you couldn't see anything. And you just had to rely on hearing screams, and I couldn't see anything. So I thought that was strange, that it was so dark. Usually that's a today thing.
Yeah.
But back then, in this movie anyway, it was so dark, I couldn't see anything.
The funny thing about this movie is, to me, that I kind of noticed, was that it really felt like an obscure movie, didn't it? Like, didn't this just feel like some random movie from the 80s that I picked out? Like, it doesn't even feel like a real, like, classic horror movie, except for the music. The music
was good, I thought.
The music was perfect.
It was very interesting.
The music was awesome. The music was easily the best part of the movie. Because here's the thing with the music. You could take this music and put it over any movie, over any scene, and automatically it's going to be good. Because that's how good the music is. The music elevates the movie to another level. In the same way that the music in Halloween elevated that movie, except Halloween is a million times better than this. So the music is really good. I love the music. The music is definitely the best part.
Well, they did a lot with low tones, some kind of low brass.
It's scary.
And also the bass, which is I'm talking about not the cello, but the bigger stringed instrument that makes really low notes. And then they did high notes with the strings, and like bleep bleep, and it was very effective.
It's not just good, it's actually scary music.
Yeah.
It's scarier than anything in the whole movie. Let's see. Let's before we fully just wreck this movie, which I know that people are upset about it already, which, sorry, but I'm not gonna... I gave it a chance. I gave it a third fucking chance. And 3 chances is the most I'm gonna give it, sorry. So, another good thing. The actress playing Mrs. Voorhees,
Oh, that's
Pamela
Betsy Palmer.
Voorhees was really good.
That's Betsy Palmer.
She was the best actor in the whole movie.
It's just funny, Marco, because back then she might have been a beauty queen or something, but she was about the least person you suspect of playing in a horror movie and being the bad guy.
Well, yeah, she was upset about being in the movie, and she was
was she? I can
apparently.
imagine.
But then she saw that it was so good and people loved it so much that she was, she liked it. I think after that.
She was like, she might have been in toothpaste commercials, and
Well, you could tell.
Yeah.
There's lots of times in this movie where she opens her mouth.
I thought, oh my God, I know her.
And you can tell, like, wow, she has good teeth.
She did. She had perfect.
She has good teeth.
I think she was I'd have to look her up, but I remember her from way back, and she was like a goody-goody. So it was very surprising to see her play this villain.
She was the best part in terms of actors. Now, we won't mention the final girl because that'll get into the bad of the movie. A lot of the bad of this movie.
Let me mention about the final girl.
Oh.
She has a Dorothy Hamill haircut, which was very popular at the time.
Ugh.
And Dorothy Hamill, if you don't know, was an American figure skater who won the gold medal at the Olympics, which was very unusual and groundbreaking because the only people who were skating, winning gold medals, were Russians and East Germans. So it was. So she had this haircut, and everybody wanted to copy it. It's called like a wedge haircut. So she had it.
It's kind of like
on her.
It's kind of well. Yeah, well that's not the discussion here. Is did they look good?
I just wanted to say this is an historical thing with her hair.
Well, the thing is, Safi, is that we won't talk anymore about her until we get to the bad, unless you disagree and you thought she was really good or something.
No, she was just like I wasn't sure if anybody was. I didn't think she was going to live. So
the other good things I would say are. The effects were good. The special effects, the makeup. I have Tom Savini's makeup book where he talks about all the effects that he did in this movie and how he did them. And so, all the makeup was really good. It was realistic and, classic Tom Savini makeup. I like the scene at the end where she is in the boat, the final girl, and every time.
I was surprised she did that. I didn't get that. Why she did? I thought, is she going to canoe to the other side of the lake or something?
Yeah.
To see if there's anybody who can help her?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that.
You can do that in the video game. You can do it in the movie. And there's a brief scene where she's there, and then the police are there, and then Jason is a boy. He comes out of the lake and gets her. I really like that scene a lot. But then they ruined it, because then they had this stupid scene where she woke up, and they said they didn't find any boy, and then they had another scene at the end that was unnecessary, where it showed like her face over the top of the lake. And it was so stupid because, like, the shot and the scene with her getting grabbed by the boy was perfect.
I didn't think he looked like a boy. I thought he looked as old as a counselor.
No, that was Jason.
I know,
And,
but it didn't look like a boy to me. Is the actor who does that a boy?
Yeah, he was a boy. Ari Lehman. And, that scene was perfect. And you didn't need to have anything after that, because this was, at that point, this was a standalone movie. You didn't have a sequel. In the sequel, you could have added that on and shown, like, there wasn't any boy. We didn't find any boy. But you didn't need to have that at the end of this movie. And so I really hated that, but I loved the brief shot of her getting grabbed by young Jason in the boat.
Well, I wondered about that, too, because she was there all night in this canoe. And I thought, isn't that ghost in the lake, we hear so much about? And she was fine. She'd fallen asleep in the canoe. And then the sheriff comes rolling up, has his lights flashing, standing at the edge of the shore, and she's like in the middle of the lake, asleep in the canoe, like draped. She has her hand draped over the edge, and I thought, my gosh, she's still alive, and the ghost didn't grab her. I'm surprised. And then when you can see, because see, if it had been dark, you wouldn't have been able to see it. Like I said, I couldn't see anything, so it's probably good it happened in the daylight. That it grabbed her from behind and pulled her into the water. And that was it. And then you see this bed scene after kind of a pause.
It totally undercuts all of the horror from that scene.
Yeah.
Did it for you, Safi?
I was surprised.
It was very reminiscent of that stupid, unnecessary scene at the end of Psycho where the psychiatrist explains why Norman Bates did what he did. Remember that, Safi?
Yeah, I did.
Like, that's literally the only bad scene of the entire Psycho movie. Like, all the other stuff in the movie is perfect. But that scene where you have the stupid psychologist and he's like, I'm going to explain to you why Norman Bates what he did. Because the audience is too stupid to understand it. The audience can't even comprehend that this stuff can happen. And, it's like, that scene was the same as this. We didn't find any boy, the stupid, I hate it.
And the sheriff
I hate it.
The sheriff was standing there at the edge of the shore, like I said, and he said in this last scene with the hospital that his two men ran out there and saved her because she was in the lake and they barely saved her. And I'm like, I only saw him. I didn't even see any men with him. And he just stood there when the guy grabbed her.
Yeah.
Or the ghost grabbed her. So I didn't get that.
I guess it was a vision or something. It was a nightmare, but, it was so good and then they ruined it. Like, oh, God. And then there were a couple of times where it was scary. The movie was scary, like times where people were being chased. Chase scenes can be very scary if they're done right. And I think that in this movie they were good. I liked some of the time where it was like the POV shots because it kind of made the movie feel real a little bit, but not really. And other than that, it's bad. It's all bad from there. I mean, what do you think, Safi? Do you agree, or do you think that I'm smoking too much? You know what?
He's not smoking anything. Anyway,
I'm smoking too much Jigsaw.
Yeah.
But Saw is a better movie. I mean, wouldn't you agree with that, or do you think that this crap is better?
It's more grown up. This seems kind of, what would you call it? Juvenile, or like somebody's first movie.
Yeah.
I mean, first of any movie ever. And it's very simple.
Well, I will say, too, after I watched this movie, I had to wait for Safi to watch it, too. I watched Sleepaway Camp again. And that just totally destroyed it. Like, Sleepaway Camp is a masterpiece. And it is so much better than this movie in every way, shape, or form. Every single thing that this movie did, Sleepaway Camp did better.
Yeah. And I was surprised it was about another camp, too. But like I said, and there was no campers, because in Sleepaway Camp there are campers there.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of weird for me. Like, aren't the campers going to show up? And when are they supposed to show up? And you don't hear anything. And then I forgot the person who opened up the camp, and then the counselors came. He showed up at the very end, and of course, guess who met him? The killer, and got rid of him. So he hardly had any presence in the movie at all, except at the very beginning. And then I'm like, where has he been all this time? I just thought I didn't like that. But that's why I said it was kind of, it's somebody who
formulaic.
No, it's just somebody hasn't had a lot of experience doing movies, and they're very
well, that's why
not
it's
juvenile.
that's why it said that it felt like it was some random obscure movie that I picked out. Like, it didn't really feel like a certified classic like Jaws or Night of the Living Dead, Halloween.
It was kind
Psycho.
of naive.
Yeah.
I know there's a different word if I think of it, but it just felt like very like somebody who's very inexperienced, and they had some good ideas and they put something together, but and they made a lot of assumptions, and
it was like a good first try.
Yeah.
But the second one's way better. Spoiler alert. So,
I wouldn't know. But
well, you
anyway,
will know
I
pretty
will.
soon.
We'll see.
Another thing I thought was stupid. Let's just finish listing off the stupidity in this movie. Crazy Ralph was really weird. Like, the character was cool and everything, but it was really goofy watching him ride around on his bicycle.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, the older guy.
He's like, "You're all doomed." And then he rides away on a bicycle.
I think he was supposed to be a red herring, but very weak red herring.
Yeah.
Like he's the guy who's causing the problems.
That just felt like another like goofy thing that you'd see like in a full moon movie.
Yeah.
Type of thing, like
yeah.
a guy who rides around on a bicycle who says, "You're doomed."
Yeah.
But what else, Safi? I mean, it's formulaic, it's boring, hardly anything happens in this movie.
Well, they just kill everybody off, but half of them die in the dark.
Yeah.
So you can't even see anything anyway.
But then you see them after they're dead. There's this really stupid, probably one of my least favorite parts of the movie, although the whole movie is probably my least favorite part of the movie. There's a part where the final girl, she discovers like all these bodies, and they're hanging from rafters and things, and they're hanging from doors and hanging from hooks and things, and she's like, like it's a haunted house, and it's like, ugh.
One thing I liked about her, she actually defended herself.
Well, yeah, she
tried to block the doors and the windows. I like that, and she didn't stop defending herself either. And I like that because I get so sick of people just standing there and taking it.
Yeah.
Like there's too much in shock. I guess they would be if they saw Betsy Palmer coming up, and she's like the all-American girl. I mean, really. Perfect teeth, perfect hair, perfect skin, perfect makeup, perfect. Except she is older, and she's wearing clothes that somebody wear if they lived on a farm. She has a plaid shirt and long pants, and like she's dressed up to do farming or something, or chores.
Yeah.
And anyway, I guess that would be shocking. But I mean, if you're fighting for your life, you don't just stand there and take it.
That's all the other characters in this movie, essentially.
Just took it.
Yeah, clip that out. Just took it.
Well, the only person who we don't know, he heard some kind of noise, and he went inside this darkened building. And then you never saw him again. You didn't see him get killed. But you never see him again, so you know he had to have gotten killed. So, but now now I'm thinking about this, all those people get killed, but there's no sign of the Jeep anywhere.
Yeah.
And now at the end, when the person who tried to set up the camp, the Jeep drove up or something, and so he knew her. Because she worked in town. I think she was at the diner when that girl, Annie, came and was looking for a ride to the camp. And
you mean Christy?
No, it was Annie. Annie, remember, who was going to be the cook?
That was Christy.
Marco. Her name was Annie. Look it up.
No, it wasn't.
It doesn't. I'm not gonna argue about that.
It was Christy.
Anyway,
I sat through this
was
movie
no
3
sign-
times.
There's no sign of the Jeep anywhere. So you've got this person running around the camp. Where in the hell was the Jeep?
I don't know.
I just thought of that.
I don't know.
They didn't show any Jeep anywhere. What'd she do? Park it down the road and then walk into camp and
She parked
slaughter
it.
everybody with a machete?
She parked it in the lake.
I don't know. I didn't even think about that. To me, that's an error. You know, like...
Oh, no, there's no errors in Friday the 13th, obviously.
I don't believe it.
Because everyone has deemed it a horror classic. So, now, let's finally dish out on the final girl, because it's not the fact that I don't like her. I think she's a good actress. I think that she did a good job in this movie. Tried to. It's just that she's not interesting at all. And I hate it in these horror movies from any year where they have this, like, quote-unquote final girl. And, like, everyone else in the movie, like, has sex and does drugs and, you know, just does whatever they want, you know, has fun. And then you have this stick-in-the-mud final girl who's just boring and bland and dull. And it's like, oh, I'm just a perfect, pretty, goody-goody two-shoes girl, and there's nothing that's wrong with me.
She was...
I hate it.
I wasn't sure if she was really their age, because at the beginning, she had been with the guy who set up the camp. In other words, they had a relationship.
Yeah, that made it even worse. Like, ooh. Ooh.
So
right, Safi?
I thought she's old. Maybe she's supposed to be older than the rest, but then, like I said, he's gone during the entire movie, and she's hanging out with him like she's just one of the counselors.
Yeah.
I really didn't get that.
No, I thought she was one of the counselors, but I thought also she had a relationship with him, which...
Well, they talked about it. She didn't want it. She wasn't interested, and she said he wanted her to think about it, and then she could go home in a week. Well, he would support her leaving.
That's what I mean, Safi, is that she's so boring and bland. I mean, what does she want to do? Like, what does this boring trash character, this non-character, this cardboard cutout woman, what does she want to do?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I fucking hate it. I hate it.
She doesn't say.
I hate it.
So, there's really not much to her except she has this historic haircut.
She's got a haircut.
If they want to talk about classic, it was kind of like when Farrah Fawcett was alive and everybody got the Farrah Fawcett haircut. When, you know, Charlie's Angels, Farrah Fawcett, she shows up and everybody go, oh my God, I've got to get a haircut. Just like that.
Final girls are the worst thing to ever happen to horror movies. Because it's just... It turned everything into a formula. And it's funny because Scream was like, you know, you can have a final girl, but, you know, we're going to actually make her interesting and cool. And then after that, instead of taking that advice, they just went back to doing final girls like normal. And I hate final girls like the one in this movie. It's cool that she fights.
I like that a lot.
It's cool that she doesn't just scream like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis is the worst.
And really, that screaming gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look, when we watch these movies, we watch every single one of them that's available to watch. So after you've seen her scream in 2 movies, Jamie Lee Curtis, and then she screams in the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And it's ridiculous. Finally, near the end, she sets up this whole expensive, probably poured every dime into it, place in the basement, and there's guns and, you know, like a shelter, like a bomb shelter or something. But all that time, just all that screaming and not really, running and screaming.
Oh, that stupid Halloween 2018. Yeah. We're not talking about that.
I know, but I'm just thinking about the screaming. At least this girl, she really didn't do that for the most part.
Like she
does things with her hands. She grabs things. She finds things to defend herself.
Yeah, she is one of the better final girls, but she's still really, really bland and dull. Because all the other characters, they're like just nice kids and, having fun and, just doing normal adult things. And she's like the stick in the mud, who's just like, I'm a boring character who doesn't do shit except for clean and, just walk around and talk to people. Like, just really, really, I hate final girls.
Okay, well.
Do you, Safi?
Well, I was surprised they had a final girl. I mean, it looked like she was going to get killed too. But then she was standing up for herself, which was refreshing to me. Because, I mean, we have seen so many movies, all kinds. Really good movies to really bad movies where the girl just stands there and screams.
It's been done better, though. It's been done better, like...
I'm sure it has, but at least...
The girl from Scream is perfect. The girl from Nightmare on Elm Street is perfect. They're a lot better than this.
So anyway, are you ready to rate the movie?
I guess so. We've already...
Okay, well, I'll just give it
what else can we say about it besides
nothing,
rate it? So.
Nothing. I don't like the scenes that are so dark. You can't see what's going on. And I guess, because there really aren't a lot of actors in the movie. It's not a huge cast. And, you go to the diner at the very beginning, there's a bunch of people sitting in the diner, but as far as the people who work at the camp, there's hardly anybody. It's just a little small group of people. And then I gave it just a cheese pizza.
Really?
Because it had the ingredients to a horror movie, but it's really nothing.
Well, that sounds like you liked it.
Nothing too special.
Because a cheese pizza is good.
But it's plain.
But a cheese pizza is good though.
Well, music is good, and so the sauce and the cheese are like the music. Okay. And then you said the special effects and the makeup was good too. So you have basic cheese pizza, but you don't have anything else. I mean, if you prefer to have more than just a cheese pizza with lots of toppings, and it's not that kind of a movie. It just doesn't have all that.
Well, Kevin from Home Alone loved cheese pizza.
Yeah, and Kevin Bacon was in the movie too. And it had been one of his first roles. He was extremely young.
And it's just so funny because
he gets killed off.
Usually movies with Kevin Bacon, he always does a really good job, and he's really stands out. And in this, it's like he's like just a nobody. Like, he's really nonchalant, and so it's just too bad that like he's not in a Friday the 13th where he really like steals the show or something, or has a lot of stuff to do compared to what he does in this.
Well, I didn't recognize him until he got into the part of the movie where he was vulnerable, and then I thought, oh yeah, that is Kevin Bacon. And I didn't even recognize him. So, until that happened. So, what'd you give it, Marco?
Well, originally I was just going to give this movie candy corn.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't, as the movie went on and it just got worse and worse and it bored me to tears, I thought, this movie doesn't deserve candy corn. It will get hot chocolate, a little cup of hot chocolate in a styrofoam cup. Because there was a camp that I went to in 6th grade called Camp Joy. Mm-hmm. And there was this one night where we had to do a no lights hike. And it was bad because it was raining. and so you could slip and fall.
Trip over a tree root or a rock.
Yeah, and we were not allowed to have our lights on because it was a lesson about how, animals can adjust their eyes to the dark, and so maybe humans can too.
Yeah, but if it's raining, it's extra dark.
Yeah, and so we did that hike, and I really had to go to the bathroom, and it was just painful going through this boring thing for like an hour. And then when we got back, I was really excited because I was like, I'm going to get to go to bed now. But instead, we were forced to go into this activity center place where they built a fire. We had to sit around to wait for them to build a fire. And then they put on these stupid skits that were just crap. And they just bored me to tears too. And then at the end of that, they gave us hot chocolate, and then we were supposed to go to bed. And I was like, God, why couldn't I have just gone to bed and skipped this crap like this movie? It was just so dull and so painfully boring and so not my thing. Because I had to go to the bathroom. And I was tired. It was 10 o'clock at night that we were forced to stay up to.
Yeah, we were used to, back then, he had to catch the bus, I think at 6:30. It was really early because he was the first one and we lived out. And so we would get up about 5 o'clock, 5:30. So it was...
and we had to get up early at this camp too, so it's the hot chocolate is just simple, boring, and it's just not anything special. We didn't even have any marshmallows. How do you not have marshmallows at a fucking camp to put in the hot chocolate too? How do you not have marshmallows at a camp?
I don't know. So anyway, if we're done now, please give this video a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers to hear more videos like this and more reviews. And I hope we'll be able to watch the new Saw movie sometime soon.
Maybe.
And that's it, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.